Hello and welcome to another episode of the Brothers Discuss. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chris.
Oh my God, Chris, is it time to talk about the Oscars?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it is the most wonderful time of year, isn't it?
Oh, you know it.
I mean, I do love the Oscars. It's kind of a love-hate relationship, as I think any person should have to have a healthy relationship to the Oscars. We'll obviously discuss this in depth, but I don't think this was the best year of representation of some of the the more high-profile categories. But it's interesting comparing it to other award shows as well and seeing what people will nominate. Like, for example, the SAG Awards will happen later this month, I think. And that's a pretty good indication, generally speaking, of the acting categories because it's the same body of people voting there. So it's different to the Golden Globes or the BAFTAs and some of the other ones or the Critics' Choice Awards because the majority of those people are not going to vote in the Oscars because they're not Academy members. So some of the predictions we might make are ones we might technically change our predictions after the SAG Awards if we want to be more accurate.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we are going off of the list of nominees as it appears on the Oscars website, oscars.org. Uh, if they're in a very random order to you, that's just the order they have them here. Blame Oscar himself.
Mhm.
Uh, they did not announce them this way either, but I'll start. First award, actor in a leading role. So you have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Who do you go for?
I'm gonna go for Cillian Murphy on Oppenheimer on this one. I will say, fall very closely by Paul Giamatti.
Mm-hmm.
And even Bradley Cooper. I mean, I thought his performance was very good in Maestro, but I don't think it's taking the crown here. I do think it's Cillian Murphy. He gave a terrific performance in Oppenheimer, and um, yeah, I feel like this is kind of an easier one personally, but
Yeah. It is interesting. Both Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti are the two favorites based on other award shows leading up to this. They've each won one of the Golden Globes, and they've traded wins at like different shows after that. But I'm going to go with Cillian Murphy as well.
okay.
All right. Actor in a supporting role. You have Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. I don't know about you. I think this is kind of harder than the leading actor one.
I was going to say the exact same thing. It's really great talent all around. I mean, I haven't seen American Fiction, but I've seen all the other films, and you know, my Christopher Nolan heart is gushing to say Robert Downey Jr. and I do think it's very well deserved. But Ryan Gosling was also very terrific in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo like really surprised me with his performance in Poor Things. I wish he was
He
in it
did,
just a
didn't
little
he?
bit more, but he was really great in it. And I think I'm going to go with Robert Downey Jr. though.
Okay. To me, in terms of what my favorite performance is, I mean, these are all like five really good nominations. I know some people were really hoping for Charles Melton in May, December. That was a really great performance. People talk about snubs, but they don't talk about who should be replaced. It's like if you really think someone should be nominated instead of someone else, like that's how you got to put it. But these are five good performances. I actually think it's going to come down to the two Roberts, De Niro and Downey.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with Downey. I think this is seen as, finally he's getting his Oscar. He gives a great performance. I'm not saying he's not deserving, but I think it's going to go to Downey. All right. Actress in a leading role. We have Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. Who do you go for?
I'm going with Lily Gladstone for Killers.
Okay.
I thought she did really great in there. It was really kind of her story in a way, and like really you know, I never talked about this movie. I watched it recently for the first time, and
Hmm.
you know, I really liked it, but I do think like she really carried me through it because 3.5 hours is an intimidating runtime. But anytime like she was on screen is like I was sold for it. So I'm gonna go with Lily Gladstone on this.
Nice, safe choice. I like it. I am going to go with Sandra Holler for Anatomy of a Fall. Um,
Okay.
I love Anatomy of a Fall, and it's a performance that I don't want to give anything away from the film, but you don't know if she did it or if she didn't by the end. And there are times where I'm watching her and I'm like, she did it. And there are times where I'm like, oh, she's innocent. I just love that performance so much. Now, do I really think deep down that the American Academy are going to vote for her? Probably not. But that's who I'm going to go with. I'm betting on being surprised.
Okay.
All right. Actress in a supporting role. We have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and I think it's Divine. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
And this one was also kind of tough for me, but I'm gonna go with Divine Joy Randolph for Holdovers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love her performance.
Hmm.
Now I don't know what America Ferrera and Jodie Foster are doing here. Um, I will just add that they're both fine actresses. I watched Nyad recently. It was fine. Jodie Foster played Jodie Foster to me, so not a bad performance, but not one of the 5 best performances from a supporting actress of the year.
Hmm.
Uh, Animated feature film. We have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What are you going with?
Well, I've only seen two of them. I'll go ahead and get that out of the way, but I'm gonna go with Spider-Man. You know, it's the animation is like just really, really, really out there and spunky, but like really clean and just like beautiful to look at. Like there's so much rewatchability in just like the animation alone. You know, let aside that it's just a really all-around great film. And you know, I feel like that is worthy of winning an Oscar. And I know it like sounds cheap because the first one also won the same Oscar, but like, you know, it really stepped up. You didn't think it would, but it really does. So like, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man here.
All right, picking it over the Miyazaki movie. Um, um, I'm also going to go with Spider-Verse. I'm not saying it's the best of the 5. I haven't seen the others, but I'm going 2 for 2 for the Spider-Verse films. We'll see if that happens, though.
Hmm.
All right. I guess for the majority of these awards, I guess I'll just read the film title. There's a lot of names for some of these, so I don't mean to be disrespectful to those who are nominated, but because I kind of hate that we talk a lot about the actors' performances and we don't talk about that with like cinematography or costume design or whatever. But that's what I'm going for here for the sake of brevity. All right. So next is cinematography. We have El Conde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
This one's actually really tough. I haven't seen El Con, but I've seen all the
I,
other ones, and
yeah, same here.
wow, like all four of them, I think the cinematography just really, really well done here. If I had to choose one, I'm actually kind of leaning towards Maestro right now.
Hmm.
I was very impressed with the cinematography in that film. Oppenheimer is also really good, and same with Poor Things and Killers. Wow, that one's actually really tough.
Yeah, and I think the biggest strength of Maestro was its cinematography.
I agree, yeah.
There's some really long takes in that film. Poor Things is so experimental, if that's the proper term. But I'm going to go with Oppenheimer as a slightly safer bet. The
Okay,
idea of using IMAX cameras for scenes that are not normally used, I think would appeal to the voters a little bit more.
that's
I'm
true,
going to go
yeah.
with Oppenheimer. All right. So is Maestro your final answer?
Yeah, I'll go with Maestro on
Okay.
cinematography.
All right. Cool. Next is costume design. We have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Where are you going with?
It's gonna be a safe pick, but I'm gonna go with Barbie. You know, those
Think this will
costumes.
be like the bone they throw at Barbie?
Yeah, I think so. There are two bones that I have for Barbie, I think, but this is going to be one of them, and well deserved. I mean, the costumes are, really colorful and sparkly, as they should be. It's really just bringing these dolls to life, and not much more I can say about it. I mean, like, the movies, the costumes, they have a really great look, and yeah, I think Barbie has this one.
Okay. I'm going to go with Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm thinking the attire for its time. I could see it getting that kind of recognition. I got to think like the mindset of the Academy. That's what I'm trying to go for.
Okay.
All right. Next is director. Now, director is all the way down here. So for directing, we have Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I mean, come on. Who do you think we're going with here?
Who else would I go for? I have to do Oppenheimer. I mean, this is the year for Nolan. I feel like it's finally his time to get this Oscar, because I mean, he's been nominated for this before.
Story.
He's never won this Oscar before, though, has he?
I don't believe. No, he's not.
I know he's been nominated for Dunkirk. I don't know if anything else, but I do feel like this is the year, and yeah, really well deserved. Obviously, coming from a huge Nolan fan, but he did an outstanding job. So I'm gonna go Nolan on this.
All right. Yep, I'm going with Oppenheimer. I'd like to see Nolan get that Oscar. That'd be nice. But there's a lot of good nominations here. Zone of Interest is the one Best Picture nominee I've yet to see, so hopefully I'll be seeing it soon. But I like the 4 films that I have seen very much, and I think they're 4 very worthy nominees. But I'm going with Nolan, though.
Okay.
All right. Next is a documentary feature. We have Bobby Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, 4 Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, and 20 Days in Mariupol. I've not seen any of these, so I don't know what these are about. So
I haven't seen any of them either.
It's a shot in the dark. What are you going with?
A shot in the dark. 20 Days in whatever it's called. It's a complete shot.
Okay. I'm going to go with To Kill a Tiger because one of the producing nominees here, his name is David Oppenheim.
Oh, okay.
That is my prediction. So if it wins, it is because of that. I'm going to bet money right now.
That's amazing.
Okay. All right. So for documentary short, we have The ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, and Nai Nai and Waipo.
Also haven't seen any of these, so I guess it's another shot in the dark here.
Yep.
I'm just going to go with Island in Between.
Okay. I could see the ABCs of book banning getting it because, it's kind of a prevalent subject in a sense. And if it does win, I imagine like whoever accepts the award, they'll give a rousing speech like, here, let me talk about this. Then they'll get cued off with the music. But I'm going to go with The Barber of Little Rock.
Okay.
Film editing. We have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. All right, before we say our predictions, let me ask you this. Do you think they will make a joke about editing and film and the really long film length?
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of inevitable here. Especially, it's either going to be like the presenters for this award or in Jimmy Kimmel's monologue, because that's cheap humor, easy for Jimmy Kimmel. So,
you know what?
Anyway.
I was expecting jokes about the runtimes of Oppenheimer and Flower Moon after the joke landed so poorly at the Golden Globes that maybe James Kimmel won't even dare.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
What's your prediction?
Okay. I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer here. Editing I thought was really on point because the film does jump around a lot, but you never feel lost in it, despite
Yeah.
like the jumping between scenes can sometimes be like span over years, and it's still seamless throughout the story. And I feel like that one just is really impressive and stylistic too. So I'm gonna do film editing or Oppenheimer for film editing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with that. A lot of the editing in Oppenheimer is film layered on top of each other, like those shots where it looks like bombs landing and craters being created as Oppenheimer looks down on the map and things like that those are editing based. So I'm going to go with Oppenheimer as well.
Hmm.
International feature film. Io Capitino from Italy, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, and The Zone of Interest from the UK. I mean, what do you think it's going to be?
Well, haven't seen any of them, but not really so much of a shot in the dark here because Zone of Interest is nominated for Best Picture.
That's the rule.
So
It consistently happens. If it's up for Best Picture and it's in here, it's going to win the international film.
wouldn't that be funny though if it didn't? One of these ones win. I feel like that'd be very interesting. But yeah, Zone of Interest has my vote.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the only international film that's been nominated in the Best Picture category is Anatomy of a Fall, which was not selected by France to be their international film representative. But yeah, I believe it'll be The Zone of Interest. I really love Society of the Snow, and I do actually want to see Perfect Days, but I'm going to go with Zone of Interest.
Okay.
Next is makeup and hairstyling. We have Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. Maestro would be the funny option to me.
Yeah. This one's kind of tough because I did really like the makeup and Poor Things, especially with like Willem Dafoe, and I mean that was really good. But you also have to think Oppenheimer. Again, it's just like the makeup and hairstyling. That's kind of your visual cue to tell you like when and where you are in the film. And it's all really well done too. And especially in the very end when you see like all of the old makeup that they have on them, and it just looks really incredible. So I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer here.
I'm gonna go with Society of the Snow.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times in the makeup category, I mean, a film that wasn't nominated here was Guardians of the Galaxy, but definitely the first one. I'm not sure about the second one, but the first one was nominated. And those are the sorts of films that do get nominated here, like Star Trek movies and things like that, where they create creatures and aliens on top of, just people. I mean, Suicide Squad is a very famous winner in that regard. Here, we don't really have a lot of that. But what I liked about Society of the Snow is that you have people with like chafed lips and super dry skin and sunburns and things like that, where it's very basic makeup that people don't think about as being really impressive and really realistic looking. So I'm going to go with that because it would be nice to see something like that win for kind of typical everyday things that happen to us, but they put it together really well.
Okay. That was like my sneaky suspicion because I haven't seen it yet, but like I can imagine why it'd be nominated for this. That compels me to see it a lot more for sure.
Yeah. Netflix.
This is unrelated to this year's Oscars, but didn't Suicide Squad win the 2016 one?
It did, yes. That's what I was saying. It was a famous winner. All right. Man. So next is music in brackets original score. I thought that's what we called it, but anyway, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
I am gonna go with Oppenheimer yet again.
Yep.
Although I will say is very good music all around here. Um, I do have to admit though, I feel like Indiana Jones is like more of like that just feels like just like a seal for John Williams in a way. It's just
He's
like
like
yeah,
the
you
Meryl
kind of
Streep
have to
of
do it.
composers at this point.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer. The score is really terrific, you know, and I'm not like educated in like music or anything, but you know, I do have some friends that are, and they've given me points on Oppenheimer's score that's like really insightful, and it's definitely well deserved by Ludwig. He's a really talented composer, and so I'm gonna do Oppenheimer here.
Yep. I'm also going with Oppenheimer. I can't say that I'm surprised that John Williams has been nominated for Indiana Jones. I don't understand at this point. Like, if he was writing a score for an original movie with an all-new score, it'd be one thing. But it's Indiana Jones, you know?
Hmm.
All right. Next is music, original song. We have The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, I'm Just Ken from Barbie, It Never Went Away from American Symphony, A Song for My People. I'll go with the English title here. From Killers of the Flower Moon, and What Was I Made For from Barbie.
Um, I'm actually having trouble remembering a song for my people. Because I was like, wait, Killers of the Flower Moon is nominated here?
Yep.
Because I have the list in front of me, so you know, I feel like that's probably it, but I'm gonna go ahead just say just because I want it to win so badly, I just want I'm Just Ken to win. Even though I do think for Oscars, What Was I Made For is the overall like better pick,
Sure.
but um, I think that'd just be hilarious if I'm Just Ken won. So I'm gonna go with that.
I'm also going to go with I'm Just Ken. I don't think
Okay,
it's the best song in Barbie. The best song wasn't even nominated. So I'm going to go with I'm Just Ken. Um,
nice.
so we're not at the end, everybody. The best picture is up next. Um, are we just going to do it now? Like, it'll be like that one Oscars where it ended with Anthony Hopkins winning Best Actor. All right.
Okay, yeah, let's
So
do
the
it.
nominees are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
You know, I'm gonna have to give it to Oppenheimer, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, it, really easy choice here. Well, I mean, all of these films are actually really great, or the ones that I've seen at least. But you know, Oppenheimer, by far the best film of the entire year, and yeah, I think it's got it.
hmm I'm also going with Oppenheimer. So if I'm going by what was my favorite film of the year, then I would definitely go with Oppenheimer. I really wish Past Lives was nominated in more categories, but Oppenheimer was the one I enjoyed the most. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's my pick. Next is production design. Uh, Maybe these are in alphabetical order. Maybe. I guess that's a way of getting around saying, awards are more important than others by, ranking them.
Hmm.
Is this how? Hang on. Hang on. Because it was Best Picture. So are they just like, are they alphabetical by just like a specific word?
I guess
So
so.
P for
Got pictures
picture,
in the P's. But
and
wait,
then next is
after best
production.
production design is
Wait,
animated
hold
short.
on. Hold on a second. Because it did. I don't. Did it do that for the documentary? Hold on.
This is
Directing,
very weird.
documentary feature film, and then documentary short film, and then hang on. Let me just jump ahead real quick.
But it's animated short film. Shouldn't that be in the A's?
Right?
None of this makes sense. You had one
Oh,
job
this short
Oscars.
film by S's.
But then why isn't documentary short film here?
Wow, what a great website! This is awesome.
You had one job. Why not just put it in order in which they're presented? That, I feel like that makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Anyways, production design. So we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
Um, This is kind of a tough one,
Mhm.
because I actually did think for the longest time that this would probably be an easy one for Barbie, and the Barbie production design is actually very good.
Yeah.
But I did recently watch Poor Things, which also has very good and very creative production design. Um, but I guess, but also you have to recognize Oppenheimer is also nominated here, which is great because there's like real practical effects going on. So like a bomb is a prop in the movie, but um, I don't know. This is actually kind of a tough one for me. I want to hear what you say first. Then I
Okay,
want to see
sure.
if you can
So
convince me.
I'm going with Poor Things.
Okay.
I think what people don't discuss when it comes to production design is the CGI part of production design. And this
Mhm.
had that, like almost like an uncanny valley effect on a like on a very like sunset sky that doesn't even look real. Like that is part of production design, like the design of the look of the film. So yeah, that's my justification for Poor Things.
Okay. I think I'll probably meet you there on that then.
Yeah.
It was very creative, beautiful looking. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Poor Things here.
Okay. Next is animated short film. So we have Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, Pachydermy, and War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Sorry. I wish I
Uh,
knew which ones were made by Disney or Pixar because it doesn't say it on here.
yeah, I'm not sure. Um, so this is yet another shot in the dark. Haven't seen any of these.
We're eyeballing it, folks. We have no idea.
I'm gonna say Letter to a Pig.
You know what? I'm going to say the same thing.
Okay.
All right. Next is a live action short film. Uh, one of these is very much available to watch, but I've yet to see any of these. I'm going to try and watch these before the Oscars, so maybe my pick will change.
Mhm.
But the nominees are The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Um, I'm gonna go just based off of recognition. I mean, I haven't seen any of these, but The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar,
Yeah.
just because it's Wes Anderson, there's a lot of notoriety there. So that's my choice.
Yeah, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar might finally be Wes Anderson getting some recognition for being a weirdo, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Sound. That's what the award is called. Um, the Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest.
This is kind of an interesting one for me because I've seen most of these, but I haven't seen one, and that's the Zone of Interest. And
Same here.
I've looked up like I looked into what it's about, and like the fact that it's nominated for Best Sound has me really curious, like tied into what the movie's about.
Mhm.
And I have a sneaky feeling it's going to win this one.
Okay.
Um, but of the ones I have seen, I do think it's yet again Oppenheimer.
So yeah, like you, I've seen all of these except Zone of Interest. I'm surprised by a couple of the films that are here. But Oppenheimer had the most interesting sound design, setting off the bomb and it being silent and it happening just a few seconds after the impact hits the scientists. It's really creative, and the big Trinity test scene is what I think a lot of people think about it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Oppenheimer. Again, you got to think like in the mindset of the Academy, like sound go boom real good. That's that's their mentality. Um, Next is visual effects. So we have The Creator, Godzilla Minus One, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon.
So I haven't seen Godzilla. First of all, I want to just go ahead and get that out of the way.
Oh, you need to see it.
I do want to see it, and
It's
especially now
very
that it's
good.
nominated. But I haven't seen that one. But I did recently watch The Creator, and I thought the movie was fine, but I was actually really impressed with the visual effects, and I feel like that definitely carried the movie for me. So I'm gonna go with The Creator on this one.
Yeah, so part of me wants to go with the creator because often just a very nice looking movie in space will win this award. That
Mhm.
is a recurring thing. So it really could be the creator, but my heart goes with Godzilla minus one.
Okay.
Knowing the budget that they had and how good Godzilla looked and everything in that movie, I would just like to see Godzilla walk away with a big award.
I'd be completely fine with that.
Okay. All right. Next is writing, adapted screenplay. We have American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer. Surprise, surprise. But it really is a really great, compelling story, and I feel like Nolan's really wrote and adapted it. I actually really makes me want to read. What's it called?
The screenplay?
American Prometheus. Is that the book?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and the screenplay too, but I do want to check out the book and just kind of see how it holds up with the movie and um, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer here.
So it'd be neat if it was Oppenheimer, just having read that script and how it's written in first person from Oppenheimer's perspective. It's really interesting as a script. And Barbie here could be the Greta Gerwig gets her Oscar.
Hmm.
But I'm going to go the opposite route. Again, I'm thinking the mindset of the Academy. One of the nominees is for a film called American Fiction for adapted screenplay. It has fiction in the title. And it's a film about writing.
That is
So
true. That is a good point.
you got to think about who's voting in these awards, and it's writers. So I'm going American Fiction for
Okay.
that reason.
Um, that is a really good point. I'm sticking with my guns, so I'm going to say Oppenheimer.
Okay. Next is writing original screenplay. We have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives.
This one's tough for me because there are
Yeah.
two really big standout ones. Those being Holdovers and Past Lives, and I really wanted to give it to Past Lives because it was only nominated for 2 Oscars, and
Mm,
I really just want to give it to that just to give it that recognition. But
sure.
I think I'm going to go with Holdovers on this one.
Okay. I'm kind of torn between three here. I don't think it's going to be May December because I think it makes too much fun of the film industry.
Hmm.
Although maybe the writers like that. I mean, hey, this was the year where the writers kind of had the industry in a death grip. So
That's true.
maybe it will be May December.
This is the
Um,
writer's way of getting that point across. Yeah.
uh, I love Holdovers. I love Anatomy of a Fall. Maestro is fine. Past Lives is a bit different, but I'm going to go with Past Lives.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. And that's the end. We're done. We did it. We'll see how right and wrong we are. So if anyone watching this, please keep track of, if you could do us all a solid, keep track of what we picked in the comments, and then we'll see if we're right. Uh, so Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me over on Letterboxd and Instagram.
Yeah, same here. On Letterboxd, I recently uploaded my 20 favorite films of the year. I've decided to narrow down to just to cap it off at 20 films. But the list is always subject to change depending on what else has come out as a holdover, if you will. So maybe some films will get knocked off the list. Ooh, look out. And you can also find my video editing work for the Amazing Spider Talk on YouTube. So check it out. Watch everything. And that's it. We'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.